Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. For those of you that are joining me for the first time today, my name is Allison and I'm really looking forward to guiding you through a slow flow yoga today. A slow flow yoga that focuses on strengthening the mind-body connection, which as we get going with our practice, you'll really start to understand and feel what that means to strengthen the mind-body connection. So I won't go into any more about that right now. Before we get started, I want to make sure that you have what you need to get set up at home. As you can see, I'm sitting on a yoga mat here. This is optional. If you have a yoga mat, I highly recommend it. If not, I'm sure you have plenty of things around the house that you could use, maybe some towels or blankets, or even some plush carpet, somewhere soft for you to support your back. The other thing that we're going to need are 2 yoga blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks, again, around your house, I'm sure you could find a couple books that are about this width, maybe like 500 pages, to help you out with your practice. And the last thing that I have going to really help me with my practice today, I have my diffuser going back here, and it's a calming blend with doTERRA Balance and Bergamot. And that's really going to enhance the whole atmosphere for my yoga practice today. And if you have essential oils at home as well, I encourage you to get those out for our practice. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started now in a child's pose. So in our child's pose, your knees come out nice and wide wherever they come out comfortably. Your hands are going to extend long and forward, stretching out that spine. And then you're going to bring your forehead down to your mat. And here we're really just going to get grounded and present for our yoga practice. And I'm going to guide you through some deep breathing to get started here. So on your next inhale, breathe in through your nose for 1, 2, 3. Hold it. And go ahead and breathe out through your mouth. 3, 2, 1. Keep going. Inhale through your nose. Feel your belly rise all the way. And now let it go through your mouth, making an HA sound. One more big deep breath in all the way till you can't breathe in anymore. Hold it and breathe out for a slow exhale. 3, 2, 1. Here we're going to go ahead and set an intention for our practice today. You are welcome to set your own intention. If not, I'm going to set an intention for all of those that are practicing with me today. The intention that I'm going to share with you is to do your best, honor your breath and your body, and just stay present. All right, slowly go ahead and push up onto all fours for tabletop. In our tabletop, you want to make sure that your hands are about shoulder width apart and your knees are about hip width distance apart, and it's just like a table, so you have a flat back here. We're going to do a couple cat-cows to start warming up your spine. So first what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in through your nose. Go ahead and let your belly sink low, pushing your shoulders down away from your ears. And then go ahead and breathe out for cat, arching your spine, pushing back in through your shoulders. Moving nice and slow. We're going to keep this movement going. So go ahead and sink your belly low for cow. And your exhale, go ahead and push back through your shoulders, arching your spine for cat. One more. And let your belly sink low as you breathe in, shoulders down away from your ears. Exhale, push back into your cat. Come back to your neutral tabletop. And from here we're going to do thread the needle pose. And we're going to hold this for a few breaths, so take your time getting into it. I'm going to start with my right hand. Lift your right hand up, and you're going to slide it right underneath your left arm, coming all the way down to your shoulder. Your head rests on the mat or on the ground. And your left hand is going to extend all the way forward, reaching up. Like I said, we're really working on staying present and connecting with our breath. So we're going to be here for a few breaths. Go ahead and take a big deep breath in through your nose. And breathe out through your mouth. Keep that breathing going at your own pace. Last one. Big deep breath in and out. I'm going to slowly push back up. So I'm going to bring my left arm to the mat and I'm going to push myself up back to my tabletop. And then we're going to go ahead and do it on the other side. So now I'm going to lift my left arm and thread it through or underneath my right arm, coming down to my shoulder, resting my head on the mat and reaching my right arm all the way forward as far as I can. Make sure your hips are stacked above your knees and not pushing too far back or too far forward. And again, just focusing on your breath. Long, deep inhale through your nose. And let it go through your mouth. A few more of those at your own pace. One more. Slowly start to push yourself back up, pushing your mat with your right hand and coming back to your tabletop. From here, we're going to go into a puppy pose, so an extended puppy pose. So I want to make sure, like I said, that my knees are right in line with my hips, so double check, and that you have a little bit of space between them. And then you're going to slowly start to walk your hands forward as you push your chest down to your mat. And then you can go ahead and rest your head on the mat as well. We're opening our chest, and you should feel this stretch through your shoulders and your neck. Continuing that deep breathing that we've been doing. So long, deep breaths in through your nose. And out through your mouth. Getting comfortable here. And if your mind starts to wander, bring it back to focus on your breathing. Slowly start to make our way back up, pushing our hands onto the mat, back into our tabletop, and we're going to push up into our first downward dog. So for our downward dog, I'm going to uncurl my toes, push my hips up high, and your heels low. Right? And the goal of this pose is not to have your heels touch the mat. They might touch the ground, but they don't have to. What you want to make sure here is that you're lifting up out of your shoulders, that your middle fingers are pointed directly forward, and that you have a little bit of space between your legs. Let's go ahead and shift our weight. Bend your right knee a little bit, pushing that left leg down to the mat. And then go ahead and slowly switch, bending your left knee and pushing your right leg and heel down to the mat. We're going to do that movement again. Go ahead and switch, moving nice and slow, feeling those sensations in your body, connecting your mind to your movement. And go ahead and switch. The left knee comes forward. Go ahead and go on the balls of both feet high on your tiptoes. And then slowly lower your heels down. Go ahead and look forward now and walk one foot up and then the other so that they're touching. Now I want you to heel toe your feet out, making a little bit of space, so about as wide as my mat here, hip width distance. And I'm letting my head hang heavy for our rag doll.
It might feel good to grab opposite elbows and start to sway a little bit. Going back and forth. Letting your head hang heavy. So you're loosening up all of that tension in your neck. And continuing to feel yourself drop deeper and deeper as you're slowly swaying in the pose. Go ahead and bring both your hands to the mat. Heel toe your feet together. And we're going to breathe in through our nose as your hands come to your shins, flat back. Exhale, bring your hands back to the mat, bending your knees, forward fold. So my face is coming all the way into my knees. Inhale, come up all the way to rise. Palms touch overhead. Exhale, I'm going to push my chest forward as I slowly start to come back down. Hands come back to the mat. Inhale, bring your hands to your shins, flat back. Exhale, bring your hands down to the mat. And I want you to walk one foot back and then the other. From here, we're in a plank and we're going to quickly drop down to our knees. If you want to cross your legs, just like I am, that feels pretty good here. And we're going to do a little push-up. So squeezing your elbows in tight, we're going to lower down all the way to the mat. Your inhale is going to push you up, creating some space in your legs, separating them out wide for our high cobra pose. So if you look here, my arms are straight. You can also have them bent a little bit because again, your intention is to honor your body in your practice. So you want to see what feels best for you. But you want to make sure that your shoulders are down away from your ears. And like I said, you have some space between your legs. So they're out nice and wide. Continuing to breathe in and out. Go ahead and slowly look over your right shoulder. Come back center. And slowly look over your left shoulder. Come back center. And then we're going to lower down slowly onto our stomachs. And we're going to push back into our down dog. So I'm going to push into my hands here. And I'm pushing my hips up high and my feet down low. And again, I already have some space between my feet. If you don't, your feet came together, go ahead and walk them out so they're about hip width distance, just as my hands are hip width distance in my down dog here. Inhale, bring your right leg up. We're going to go into a three-legged dog. So you're going to bring your right leg up as high as you can. Again, yours might look different than mine. It's not about how it looks, it's about how it feels and honoring your body today. And then I want you to bend your right knee for our three-legged dog. And we're going to start to draw some circles. As big as you can make them. Draw some circles with your knee. And then switch directions and go the other way. And slowly lower that leg down. Go ahead and take a big deep breath in through your nose. And let it go through your mouth. One more. Big deep breath in through your nose. And out through your mouth. Next, inhale brings your left leg up, again as high as you can bring it. And bending your left leg for a three-legged dog on the other side. We're going to start to slowly draw those circles that are opening up our hips. Go ahead and switch. Switch directions. And slowly lower down. In our down dog, another big deep breath in. And out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Your next inhale brings your right leg up. This time I want you to square your hips. So you want to make sure that your hips are squared down to your mat and your back foot, that right foot, is flexed before you bring it all the way through. So we're going to bring it all the way through to our pigeon on the right side.
So for pigeon, I'm on my knee here. This is where you're going to want your blocks nice and close, especially if your hips are really tight, because you can use your blocks to hold yourself up. And I'm going to uncurl that back toe, so I'm sitting into my pigeon. Again, this is opening my hips. Maybe for some of you that have a little more flexibility in your hips, you're going to be able to sit a little bit farther down in your pigeon, and your hands can rest on the mat. We're going to be here for a few breaths. For those of you that have even more flexibility, if you want to come down to your elbows, go ahead and come all the way down to your elbows. And wherever you're at, we're going to breathe. Again, in yoga, your pain level should never be above a 7. So on a scale of 1 to 10, if you're above a 7, just back off. Push yourself back up to whatever level you need so that it's comfortable for you. I will say in the pigeon that your right foot is going to be more intense the farther up your right leg is. So if it's parallel with your mat, that's going to be really intense for your hip. Where when I bring that foot closer, it's going to make it a little bit more manageable for me to sit into the pose. I'm coming back down again. We're going to do a couple breaths here. Focusing on slowing our mind, slowing our heart. Breathing in and out. And out again. Breathe in through your nose and out. Breathing in and out. Like I said, it's normal for your mind to start to wander and maybe your thoughts to go elsewhere, but our intention in our practice is to stay present. So you want to bring your thoughts back to the present moment by focusing on your breath. Focus on those physical sensations you're feeling in your body and breathe through it. And slowly start to push ourselves back up, coming onto our hands. And I'm going to go ahead and sit right over onto my right hip. So I'm sitting and pushing myself over onto my right hip. And my back leg, I'm going to swing it up and around. So that left leg is going to come up and over my right leg for our side twist. So for my side twist, I'm going to go ahead and turn all the way, looking over your right shoulder. Left hand is on your knee, and you're thinking about opening your chest, looking as far back as you can. Go ahead and come back center. And we're going to all meet back in a tabletop. So you've been here before. Our tabletop is a comfortable position coming onto all fours with both of our knees hip width distance and our arms shoulder distance, to push back into our down dog. Hips are high, heels are low. Sometimes you maybe need to adjust so you can get comfortable by moving your hands a little bit farther forward or back. And your next inhale, bring your left leg up. Again, squaring those hips to your mat and flexing that back foot. Go ahead and bring it all the way through for pigeon on the other side. So my left knee is by the left corner of my mat. And again, for those of you using blocks, this is where you can go ahead and just prop yourself up. My back foot is uncurled. And again, we're sitting into our hips. For those of you that have a little bit more flexibility, and if you could do it on this side as well as your other side, you can go ahead and lower down just a little bit more with your hands on the mat. Or for those of you that are already here, you can go ahead and slowly lower down to your elbows. Again, we'll be here for a few slow, deep inhales and exhales. So take your time getting comfortable in this position. And remembering to slow your breath. I usually like to say in for 3 seconds and out for 3 seconds. Slowly bring your head up and start to make your way out of this position from whatever variation you were in. We're going to slide over onto our left hip, onto our left side, and then I'm going to swing my right leg around. Again, take your time getting here into this position. But you're going to swing your right leg around, crossing over that left leg, and again, we're going to open for that side twist. So again, my right hand is on my right knee, twisting open, looking over your left shoulder, and breathing in and out. A few more breaths on your own. Alright, we're going to slowly come back, bring our left hand forward, and meeting in our tabletop on all fours. A neutral spine, straight spine, space between my knees, and space between my hands. And then I'm going to push back up into my down dog. My feet are hip width distance. We're getting comfortable in this pose. My hands are shoulder width distance. Again, your middle fingers, do a check. Look and see, are they facing forward? And you're pushing that weight through your thumb and your index finger, pushing out of your shoulders and letting your head hang heavy. Take a big deep breath in and out. And thinking about that mind-body connection. When we are slowing our heart, which is what we're doing with this breathing in our asanas or our physical postures, we're also slowing our mind. It's influencing the chemicals in our brain that are improving our mental state and calming us down. All right, inhale, bring your right leg up as high as you can bring it, and step your right leg through in between your hands. So we're in a lunge. So if you can't touch the ground here, this is where you want to make sure that you have your blocks close nearby, where you can make some physical contact with them to hold yourself in this pose. If you don't have blocks and you can touch the mat, again, feel free to bring your hands down to the mat. This is your practice. Do what works best for you. I'm going to hold myself up on the blocks today for those of you practicing with blocks to show you how we're going to go back and forth between these poses. So on our next breath, we're going to kind of push ourselves back, and we're going to slowly forward fold, bringing your chest down to your shins or your knees. Again, wherever it's comfortable for you. If you're still up here and that's your 7 on your level of comfort scale, then you're up here. It's again, however far you can go where you're feeling that stretch back in your hamstrings and the back side of your leg. And then we're going to slowly bend that right leg, coming back to our high lunge. We're going to do a few more of those, moving with your breath. So inhale, pushing your right leg straight. Exhale, bringing yourself back forward, high lunge. Inhale, push back. Exhale, come forward. Very good. I'm going to slowly put the blocks out of the way. And then for support, go ahead and put your hands quickly right on your knees. So if you're coming up from the ground or from your blocks, you want your hands on your knees for support. Feeling that strength you're creating in your legs. You can also put your hands to your hips. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, slowly open up. So see, I have a lot of space between my legs here. So make sure you have a lot of space. Inhale, bring your arms all the way up overhead. And our exhale, we're going to push our chest forward, slowly coming down for our wide leg forward fold. Wherever your hands touch. So your hands might not touch, and if they don't make contact, that's okay. You just want to make sure that you're reaching for the ground, letting your head hang heavy, arms extending outward. If they do make contact to the ground, you can go ahead and lay them flat and begin to push your chest back. So you're pushing your chest back to your legs. And some people like to even bring their hands out to the side. So again, whatever feels best for you today. Listen to your body. That's what the practice is about, honoring your body. Breathing in and out. Big deep breath in
And on your next exhale, start to push yourself a little bit farther to the ground, or if you're already at the ground, pushing yourself a little bit farther back. The exhales are going to create that space. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly come back up. Moving nice and slow. And we're going to come back into our right lunge. So I'm going to turn my right foot forward, turning my left foot so it's parallel. And I have a deep bend in my right knee. Again, for strength and balance, I'm going to put my hands on my knee here, and you are welcome to do the same. And we're going to slowly bring our hands back down to the mat, bringing our right foot back, drop to your knees. And we've been here before for our little push-ups. Squeeze those elbows in tight, coming all the way down to the ground. Inhale brings you up. You can do an up dog here. So up dog, both of my legs are straight and my toes are uncurled. My shoulders are still down away from my ears. And my exhale, I uncurl my toes, walk my hands back into a down dog. Breathe in and breathe out. You guys are doing great. We're going to go ahead and do that on the other side now. So inhale brings your left leg up as high as you can bring it. Exhale, swing it forward and step through both of your hands, planting your foot firmly on the ground. Again, those of you that use blocks, you want your blocks nearby, so you can go ahead and make contact with both of your hands on your blocks for your deep lunge. If your hands can touch the ground, feel free to bring them all the way down. And we're going to do a couple movements just like we did on the other side. Shifting our weight back, straightening that left leg, bringing my chest down. This is another forward fold. So we're bending down as far as we can. And our exhale, bend that left knee, come back into your high lunge. Inhale, shift back, straighten your left leg. Exhale, shift your left leg forward, high lunge. One more set. Inhale, shift back. Exhale, shift forward. Good. All right, from here you want to lower your blocks down or your hands, and we're going to bring our hands all the way up to rest on our knee to create that balance. We're going to go ahead and slowly open up for a wide leg forward fold. This time my hands are out like a T, and I want you to try to interlace your hands behind your back. So by interlace, I want you to try to grab your hands, squeezing your shoulder blades, puffing that chest out. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, you're slowly starting to push yourself down, again for that wide leg forward fold. If this is too much to keep your hands here, you can go ahead and slowly lower them down, just like the other side. Let them hang. If they come all the way down and make contact with your mat or the floor, that's great. You can continue to push yourself back. Or maybe even some of you today might try to grab your ankles. Wherever you're at, remember we're going to breathe. And then checking in with yourself and your intention. Are you still honoring your body and staying present, focusing on your breath? Creating that sense of calm and peace in your inner world. Slowly start to make your way back up. And you could bring your hands to your hips for stability, turning that left leg forward and turning my right foot forward to pop. I'm in my high lunge. Both your hands can come to your knees. And we're going to bring both hands down to the mat. Step that left foot back. Go straight into bend your knees. And we're going to do a little push-up. Slowly lower down, squeezing everything in tight. Inhale to your high cobra or your up dog, shoulders down away from your ears. Exhale, uncurl those toes and push yourself back into your down dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Go ahead and keep breathing as we're here in our down dog for a couple more breaths before we move forward. Really feeling that grounding through your hands and your feet. All right, what's coming up next is a yogi squat. I'm gonna give you the cues on how to hop into it, but you can feel free to walk and take your time to get there. What we're gonna do to hop into it, I'm gonna look forward at where both of my hands are, bend both knees, and we're gonna do a little frog hop. And when I hop, I want both of your feet to land outside of your hands. So go ahead and hop if you haven't already done so. And once we get here, again, you should have your blocks close nearby. So for those of you that your hands, it's too much to touch the ground, you can have your blocks here for support. Again, we're going to be here for a few breaths, so take your time getting into it. So you can use those blocks. Some of you might have your hands, like we're a little frog here, and you have your hands firmly planted on your mat. That's great too. Again, we're opening our hips, opening your knees. And for the final expression, if you wanted to try this and try your balance, you can bring your hands to heart center, using your elbows to push your knees out wide. Again, wherever you're at, wherever your hands are, you want to make sure that your spine is nice and long and straight. Your shoulders are down away from your ears, and you have a little bit of space in your chest. You can close your eyes. Bring your deep breaths in and out. One more big deep breath in and breathe out. So let's slowly push ourselves back onto our bottom. I'm going to go ahead and get a quick drink of water. If you have water with you, it's probably a great idea to get a quick drink. And we're going to be sitting in butterfly pose here. So the rest of our poses are going to be very close to the ground. And we have a few poses left of our practice, so you're doing great. Staying present. And so for butterfly pose, as you can see here, your feet come together and your knees open up nice and wide. You can put your feet super close and in. This is going to be more intense, and if you want a little bit of space where it's less intense, you're going to go ahead and slide your feet forward a little bit. Again, wherever it feels right for you. This is stretching our hips and creating some flexibility and space here in our hips and our groins. Go ahead and sit up nice and tall, shoulders down away from your ears. Breathe in through your nose. And breathe out through your mouth. Very good. Breathe in through your nose. And as you breathe out this time, you're slowly going to start to lower down. So wherever you're at, you can use your elbows to gently push on the inside of your thighs and your knees to create some more space here in this pose and flexibility. For those of you that can't touch, if you want to use a block, you should have your blocks nearby still, where you could maybe rest your hands on your blocks. Or maybe some of you are going to try to bring your forehead down to your toes. Again, wherever you're at, you want your spine to be nice and long. Shoulders away from your ears, and continuing to breathe. All right, slowly come back up. Let's go ahead and extend both your feet out forward in front of you. Maybe shake your hips out left and right. Inhale, bring your arms up over your head, reaching up to the ceiling as high as you can reach. And your exhale, slowly start to lower down to try to touch your toes. And again, I say try. It's wherever you can reach today. So if you can grab your shins, go ahead and grab your shins to hold yourself in this pose, because we're going to be here for a few breaths. If you can walk your hands a little bit farther down to your ankles, you might feel a nice stretch there. And for those of you that want to keep going, maybe, like I said, try to bring your fingertips down to the edge of your toes. Puffing your chest forward, breathe in. And exhale, lower down. This is our seated forward fold. So again, you're holding it here, trying to bring your face closer to your legs, closer to your knees. With those deep inhales through your nose. And exhales through your mouth.
Remember, the exhales take you deeper. Let's go ahead and try one more. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, see if you can go a little bit lower today. Bring your chest just a little bit closer to your legs. Very good. Let's slowly start to push up. Right leg comes out wide, left leg comes in. Again, getting comfortable in this pose. Inhale brings your arms up overhead, reaching up, and slowly turn to that right foot. Exhale, start to lower down. And again, your block should be nearby, so if you can't make contact with the ground, I recommend putting a block on each side of your leg. You can also put it on the higher side like this, or the lower side. For those of you that don't need a block, you can bring your hands right to the ground. But it's the same as our seated forward fold, where again, you're trying to puff your chest out as you're bringing your body closer to your leg. And we're not pushing. Again, we're just releasing and we're staying present in the moment, but we're not pushing ourselves. Maybe as a reminder too, that this isn't active right now, this is more passive, where we're just sitting in the pose. You can flip your palms up. It's an open gesture for receiving energy. And again, you're still puffing your chest out and just letting yourself rest. So you can have a little bit of an arch in your back here, or a round in your back, because we're going to stay here for a few deep breaths. Again, staying focused on the present. It's the heart of so many mystical disciplines, just to stay fully present. It's a practice. So it's okay for your mind to wander, but you want to bring it back by focusing on your breath. And then slowly push back up. So again, if your palms are facing up, put them face down and slowly push yourself back up. Coming back to center, we're going to do a couple windshield wipers. This is because we've been working on our hips a lot before we go to the other side. So for your windshield wipers, you want to sit up nice and tall with both of your knees parallel facing forward. And then you're going to go ahead and switch in one direction. Doesn't matter which way you go. And then go ahead and switch the other way. Again, we're just kind of working out our hip flexors and stretching out our legs. So going back and forth, nice and slow. And as soon as you're ready, we're going to get set up on the other side. So our left leg comes out, foot is flexed. Our right leg comes in, right foot comes into our thigh. Inhale brings your arms up overhead, reaching up. Turn to that left foot. And again, you're going to slowly start to lower down. So if you had your blocks, you want to go ahead and move them on both sides of your calf. And you're going to reach up and lower down. For those of you that are on blocks, you can use it to rest your hands on like this, or those of you that can go all the way down to the ground, and go ahead and put all of your hands and your weight onto the floor. And we want to turn our palms up if you can for the passive side of this pose, so that we're rounding our back and just kind of getting comfortable with our bodies resting closer to our leg. You're trying to bring your chest and your forehead all the way down to your knee, wherever you're at today. Continuing to remember your intention to honor your own body wherever you're at. Really start to feel your heart rate slowing down as we're winding down our practice. Feeling that sense of calm. Slowly start to push yourself back up, using your hands to push yourself back up. Okay, we're going to do the windshield wipers, bringing both of our knees together, legs together, and starting to shift one way and slowly shift the other way. Straight spine. All right, so for the last couple poses here, we're going to get onto our back. So go ahead and wherever you're laying at today for your practice, you're going to lower down to your back. And you want to have both of your knees up, just how I have them here. Bringing your heels close to your hips, so as close as you can bring them in. So if you can't bring them to touch, that's all right. Again, just as close as you can go today. For those of you that can bring it all the way in, you want to make sure that they're right in line and touching your hips. And we're going to come up into a bridge pose. So for our bridge pose, our hands are down on the mat for this, and this is really going to open up our spine, stretch our spine. On your next inhale, I want you to push your hips up as high as you can push them up, puffing your chest, rolling your shoulders back. Breathe in and breathe out. One more big deep breath. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Slowly start to lower back down. We're going to come up into a shoulder stand. So we can still stay on our backs for our shoulder stand. Hug your knees in tight. And you're going to take your hands and put them right on your low back. So you want to prop yourself up a little bit, squeezing your elbows in tight. From here, you're going to try to extend, continuing to push on your low back. Extend your feet up in line with your hips, pushing yourself up as high as you can. And you want to make sure that your legs aren't going one way or the other. You want them perfectly straight in line with your hips, pointing those toes. You should feel the sensation in your neck and in your throat, squeezing your chin down to your chest, trying to keep your breath steady. We're going to slowly bring our legs in and lower down. All right. We're going to do each one of those poses one more time. So now that you have the gist of the bridge and our shoulder stand, we're going to go ahead and do that again. Looks like I have a friend joining us. For those of you that don't know, this is Gordo. He's a yoga pup too. All right, so your feet are in close as you can get them to your hips. Hands are back on your mat, pushing down. Inhale, lifts your hips up high, squeezing your knees in, squeezing your thighs and your legs, puffing your chest out, rolling your shoulders back. Breathe in and out. 2 more deep breaths on your own. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Trying to lift a little bit higher with each inhale. And then slowly lower down. Let's do our second shoulder stand. Squeezing your knees in tight. Again, your hands are going to come down to your low back, pushing up. Your feet are in line with your hips, pointing those toes, squeezing everything in, feeling that sensation in your throat, tucking your chin. See if you can push yourself a little bit higher. Breathing in and out. Trying to steady your breath as you hold this asana or this posture. Slowly bend your knees, coming down. We're going to come into a happy baby here on our back. So happy baby, you're going to bring your feet up. If you can take your peace sign fingers and your thumb and wrap them around your toes, you can go ahead and do that and open your hips up wide. If you can't reach, then go ahead and grab your ankles or your calves, wherever you can grab on the outside here. And again, you're opening your hips up wide. Your back and your shoulders are pressed on the ground. And sometimes it feels good to start to rock back and forth. Let me close your eyes here. Remembering that you are always in charge of how you feel. That mind-body connection, power of the mind and your thoughts, creating the reality that you want, the calm that you need in your life. Slowly bring both of your feet above your head. Slowly start to lower your feet down, squeezing your stomach, squeezing your core, going as slow as you can all the way till your feet touch the ground. Inhale, breathe in through your nose, reaching your hands tall above your head. And we're going to do a double exhale, so listen to me. That's the sound we're going to make as we sit up. So breathe in through your nose. Double exhale. Try to reach your toes. And hopefully your legs stayed straight. All right, let's come back to center. Coming into our cross-legged pose. With our hands, they can be down on top of your knees. We're going to wrap up our practice for today. So your hands on top of your knees for a little more security and calm. For those of you that are feeling more open to accepting that energy from the universe and all the energy, the positive energy that's out there, your palms can be facing up. Go ahead and close your eyes. Maybe try both ways, see which feels better for you. Your shoulders are down away from your ears. Take a big deep breath in and breathe out. Go and take your left hand, put it over your heart, right hand over your stomach, and just sit with how you feel. Like I said, hopefully your heart rate has slowed. You're starting to feel more calm and grounded and truly present in your practice. We're going to end today by repeating an affirmation. So repeat after me. I am in charge of how I feel, and today I choose peace. I'm going to go ahead and close out by bringing my hands to my heart, saying Namaste, which means the light in me honors and sees the light in all of you. Thank you so much for joining me for my practice today. Like I shared in the beginning of this video, I have been diffusing my essential oils to really enhance the atmosphere of my practice, and I'll be sure to link those in the description below if you're interested in getting some for yourself. Namaste.